Hello and welcome to the More to Life podcast. I'm your host, Elle Mace, and today I have you a solo session. So I'm going to be talking to you today about the quarter life crisis. Now, for some of you listening, you may be in this exact sort of period of your life. You might have gone past it, but this will be a really good podcast to listen to reflect on whether these things were going on for you. Or you may not have reached this period of time in your life yet. So again, it would be really useful for you to understand what could be coming up for you so you can get really reflective and kind of get ahead of the game. So I've just left an interview with BBC Radio Scotland where I was talking about this, and I put the call down from them and thought, this is a great podcast. There's so much to talk about with this. So most of you would have heard about the midlife crisis, typically around the age of 50 years old, half my life's gone, etc. Now, this is the quarter life crisis, which is around the early 20s, mid 20s, should I say, to early 30s. Now, it's typically a period of for people who are struggling with the quarter life crisis, it's a period of uncertainty, anxiety, self-doubt. It's where you're pondering on whether you've already made the right choices and where is your life going. So it's more of a future anxiety, whereas the midlife crisis is more of a past life anxiety or a past life sort of more depressive thoughts and feelings of shoulda, coulda, woulda, maybe. But this is more of an anxiety for the future. Are you where you should be? Are you as successful as you should be? Whether that is from society's pressures of what stereotypically society has encouraged us to do, which would be go to school, go to college, go to university, buy a house, meet somebody or meet someone, buy a house, have some children, whatever, whether it's you comparing yourself to society or whether it's comparing yourself to your own sort of personal experiences and environments growing up. So maybe you grew up with parents, carers who were encouraging high grades, encouraging more so of society's pressures. So to meet somebody or to do well or to earn, X amount of money to get on the property market. Or maybe you actually had the flip side of this, where you had parents and carers who were more, you can do anything you want to, you can achieve anything you want to achieve, you can, be whoever you want to be. Now, I personally think that's amazing, and that is my style with my parenting. But what it can also do is actually, it gives a child or a teenager the courage to really dream big and to really believe they can do whatever they want to do. But then they can potentially hit the quarter life crisis and maybe it wasn't so realistic, so they're not there. Maybe they decided they were going to travel every country of the world, or they wanted to be the CEO of a company, and then suddenly they're 27, 28 and these things haven't happened. And it's and then you feel dissatisfied. And you feel restless that you need to get on and do these things. So it is difficult because part of me is thinking, oh God, you can't win. But, I think it's really about setting yourself realistic sort of goals. And it's okay to have a quarter life crisis. It's okay to have that opportunity to reflect on your life. So instead of head down, suppressing feelings, ignoring everything that's going on, it's a really good opportunity to actually be okay, so where is my anxiety? Where have I got this self-doubt? And do lots of self-reflection, sort of really tune into the mindfulness and self-care. What do I really want? If you're someone who's been caught up on social media, watching everyone's, perfect lives, because that's what's portrayed. People are putting pictures up of their holidays and the flowers their partners brought and all the lovely stuff. It's not so much that people share the argument they just had before they went to bed, or the holiday that actually turned out really awful because everyone was people do share things like this, but it's more so you only see the positives because you're in that comparison you're in that comparison headspace. So really want to try and use this opportunity to think, right, what is right for me? So yes, I may be comparing myself to my friends who seem to all be traveling, but is that actually what I really want? Is that, would that be right for me right now? And if the answer is yes, then kind of take baby steps to see if you can make that happen for yourself or change the direction that you're going in. Or if it's like, actually, no, I don't want that, but I've kind of assumed I want that because everyone else seems to be doing it and everyone else seems to be having an amazing time. So really sort of understand yourself. Like, I personally always had this regret about university. I never went. And I mean, it is a bit silly because the bits that I'm regretting are the social bits of the university, not actually the qualifications. Well, actually, as I've got older, I have wished that I had certain qualifications and stuff, but I would have made the wrong choice when going to uni. I wouldn't have chosen the right course. I also would have really struggled because the person that I was during those university years is I couldn't focus very easily. I was just wanting to go out. I would have fallen behind on all the work. So you have to really get real, like take away the comparison. The comparison piece can be really, really dangerous. So my kind of like top tips for if you are somebody who is either going into this or in this now is really firstly seek support, like reach out to your friends and family and maybe professional help, because if you let this anxiety, you let this self-doubt go on for too long, like it really manifests within you and it can, you're kind of creating neuro pathways there that you don't really want to. So reach out to people, and it's okay, it's okay to say I'm feeling really anxious because everyone else seems to be buying a house and I'm nowhere near it. It's okay to have those thoughts and feelings, but build emotional resilience. So really practice feeling into your emotions. If you're feeling angry, if you're feeling jealous, if you're feeling like kind of imposter syndrome, like I won't be able to ever do that, sit with it. You can even journal it out or just practice holding space for it and wondering, where is this feeling coming from within my body? What could I do about this? How could I look after myself? Really nurture yourself. Have so much compassion for yourself, because beating yourself up because someone's ahead of you and you want to get there too is not actually going to get you any further on in your life. It's just going to cause you more stress, which will mean probably more so a lack of emotional resilience, and then it can cause all kinds of things. And the other thing is, if you don't build emotional resilience or you don't really try and understand what's going on for you, you'll turn to a coping mechanism, because we're all hardwired for survival, not for success. So if you've got a feeling within you that you're not comfortable feeling, you need to process it somehow, not process it somehow. So you may turn to going out drinking, you may even turn to drugs, you might turn to social media even more. You might turn, for me and my main line of work is you'll turn to food. You might become an emotional eater, stress eater, you might over-exercise. Like, there's so many coping mechanisms, and that's really where you don't want to go down that route. So if you're having feelings of restlessness, feelings of dissatisfaction, like, this was certainly me. Like, when I was in my late 20s, I would achieve something and I might celebrate it, the following hour or two, maybe that night. But then I'd be quickly back onto what next. Maybe that wasn't quite as good as I could have been. Like, it would always be, what next? I need to go more, I need to go bigger. So I was never really satisfied with my achievements or what the direction that I was going in. And, that's okay to be somebody that is driven and does want, more and to experience more and to put myself outside my comfort zone. I'm proud of those parts of me. But where it doesn't really benefit you is when you're not even allowing yourself to be satisfied or be present or pause and just kind of like surrender to the moment and, and congratulate yourself. Like, we're so quick to judge ourselves and to beat ourselves up when something doesn't go right, but we don't often celebrate, for long periods of time, or remind ourselves often how well we're actually doing. So I would love to hear from you guys. You can drop into my Instagram or, find me on TikTok, or I'm also, I've got my website. I would love to hear if anyone else has really felt like they've suffered with the quarter life crisis. So you'll find that it mainly appears in like self-doubts around your career path, your finances, your personal relationships. Your identity is huge as well. So if you're finding that you're feeling triggered by any of those things, then maybe that is a point there to actually look within and see if any of this is going on. And yeah, I'll just touch on, maybe like why we have these things. we have these things because our brain is only fully developed. Like, well, everyone's going to be slightly different, but around the age of 25. So the quarter life crisis kicks in around then. So, you know, suddenly we're fully developed, but we haven't built emotional resilience yet. We haven't learned how to process. Well, some may have if they've grown up in an environment that was, you know, really mindful. But for many of us, we didn't. So you still need to build emotional resilience. You still need to know how to manage heavy feelings and heavy stresses. And, you know, even working out your own finances is a heavy weight for someone to work through. You know, we weren't taught this stuff. We didn't go to school or college and taught, right, you need to really try and save this much amount. You need to do this. You know, we weren't taught how to process emotions. We weren't taught how to do our finances, what to do. You know, I didn't even know the ins and outs of a mortgage until, you know, I was so much older, actually going through it and having to just learn as I went along. So yeah, there's, you know, you have to have compassion. We're still growing. You might feel like a really old 25-year-old. You might feel like, no, I'm an adult. But actually, like, I look back now, I'm 34. And I look back at my 25s and I think, gosh, I was so young still, like so young. But when I was 25, I thought, why am I not nailed my life yet? So yes, lovely to see you guys. Well, not see you, lovely to talk to you. And I will speak to you soon. Bye.